Welcome reading 4. You know, they always say you shouldn't play favorites, but I am not going to lie. I am so excited to do this reading. I am so excited to do this reading. I have had so much fun putting it together. And initially, when I was putting the reading together, I saw the animals that were pulled. So I knew, right away, like I flipped them over and I was like, oh my gosh. And when I saw that this was for reading 4, I thought this is so perfect. So without further ado, you chose, actually, before I show it, oh, we didn't do this with the other readings. Okay, you guys, indulge me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know it's like the worst, right? When someone's like, I want to tell you something, but I can't. And you're like, what? Just tell me. Okay, but indulge spirit and myself for a moment. Take some deep breaths. Close your eyes if it's possible to do so. Obviously, if you're driving or somewhere that you can't. But if you can, close your eyes. Breathe any way that feels good to you. That's what feels good to me. Now I want you to concentrate and I want you to clear your mind. Maybe the animal has already come to you. They're from the whole, right? So it could be the 4-legged, right? It could be the winged, the slithers, the swimmers, right? All creatures of earth. So clear your mind to a black slate. There's nothing there. Now I'm going to count to 3. And when I hit 3, the animal will appear. And if it doesn't, that's okay. Don't force it. Just allow it to come naturally. Okay? 1, 2, 3. What's in your mind's eye? What's in your mind's eye? Was it this? Was it the owl? Oh my goodness. Number 21, which is also the number 3. So, welcome to your reading, Owl Spirit Medicine family. Like this card, I mean, anytime I'm near an owl, I mean, my grandmother was obsessed with owls, and I always thought I was just obsessed with owls because she was obsessed with owls. But then I started to realize when the owls started to speak to me and work with me and talk to me, I was like, no, I get it. I understand. So without further ado, also, Spirit said, for those of you who did not get the owl, they said, do not feel bad, number 1, because this wasn't like a test of whether you're psychic or not. You know what I mean? This wasn't like, this was just about if you're connected to this spirit animal. Because sometimes it's because if you guess the owl, most likely that is one of your main spirit animals that you have worked with your whole life, right? You've always loved owls, blah, 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 right? But for those of you that maybe a gazelle or a deer or a raven, whatever came into your mind's eye, that is the spirit animal that they want you to work on in addition to this spirit medicine. Okay, I knew when we were putting this together, if you saw any of the other readings or watched any of the other readings for this set for the waxing crescent moon, you would see just by looking at it how different it is. This is the only one that the word hope wanted to come in. And just a lot of really cool magical things wanted to come in. The selenite, the moonstone, we have the amethyst. We also have a blue-green kyanite, this really special blue-green kyanite. Look at that. It's so special. I've seen blue kyanite that's opaque, right, but not translucent like this. This is a very rare piece. So, and maybe it's for you to work with that. We also have an apophyllite over here. We have an apophyllite. I just dropped a bunch of cards. That's okay. So whatever medicine you were drawn to, if there was a specific stone or crystal that you were drawn to, work with that as well, okay? So you're not a failure. There's no such thing, right? It's like that animal was speaking to you. And if no animal came at all, it's just because you were waiting for this. Like, this is the only medicine you need today, and maybe it's not your spirit animal. Maybe it's just, there's so many things that are going on right now with spirituality and like people and gifts. I mean, we had to know, right? At some point it was going to get bastardized, commercialized, spiritualized, right? Like, I'm spiritual, I'm woke, you know, like all this. And I'm sorry, I know that kind of makes me sound like a dick, but I'm just being real about it, you know? I mean, it's infuriating to me some days, and then other days I just laugh at it because I'm just like, it's just another form of like, you know, the darkness, the shadow coming in, trying to use the light to their advantage, which they've done throughout history and time, right? They love us when they want our light, but then they want to shut us down and put us in the dark when they no longer need our light. So with that being said, the key word for owl is, isn't that interesting? Deception. Let me see if I can get in there. I set this was set up differently than the other one, so I might be able to get back here and get you. Okay. Okay, so deception. Okay. Now, also, each of these have a cute little poem that comes with them. So here is your poem. Let me make sure I'm not getting too close to the flame there. Okay. Owl, magic, omens, time, and space. Well, I'm going to read that over because it's like owl, magic, omens, time, and space. Does the truth emerge? Casting out deception, silent flight, sacred medicine bird. And some of these are like very sing-songy, you know, like this is like a different kind of poem, right? Like this is a different kind of homage to the owl. How beautiful. And also I love that hope came in there, you know, because the key word for owl is deception, but they don't want us to lose hope, right? Which, by the way, I'm gonna wait. They're like, no, wait. I thought they were trying to say, anyway, sometimes it's funny because I'm like talking to them and I'm like, you know, giving you the messages, but also talking to you from myself. And there's a lot going on in my head. If those of you who've been walking with me a long time, you know, my channel used to be called Lula's Labyrinth because I said my head feels like a fucking labyrinth because there's like so much going on, and I can channel. Like one of my shamans said one time, she's like, I have never seen anybody channel so many different entities at once like you do. She's like, it's fucking cool. She's like, I don't know how you do it, but she's like, it's pretty amazing. But it can be daunting. And also I've been eating like shit the last few days. I've been in this like kind of like end of winter depression kind of mode. Also astrologically, for those of you who are Sagittarius, and I forget the other two signs, Virgo, and maybe, no, I can't. Anyway, but this week in real time today is February 23rd, 2023, which I love all that alignment, right? Also comes out to the number 5, by the way, all those numbers put together. So 5's about change and transformation. But since like maybe the 18th of February until like today, I have just been in shadow and like pissed off, and like things are making me angry and like just really weird, like not even myself. So I'm getting this vibe from spirit. If you're feeling that as well, like you're not alone. You know, you're not alone. In fact, they had me put this down here and see how there's like a barrier. It's like, if it's like you're the owl and spirit is showing us like they got our back. Like there is a full on barrier, you know, like even this, they're like, this could, you know, like we got you, no one's getting through, nobody's penetrating this fort, you know. And they're like you are protected, you are loved up. Also, they're having me change the lighting over here. They want you to not lose hope. Don't lose hope. We're going to talk about that. There's a lot. That's what I'm saying right now, is I'm filtering a lot of different things at once. You guys are really, really, really powerful. 854, and then it was 855. When I call out those numbers, those are for you to research on your own and whatever capacity feels right. But yeah, I feel like spirit's like, we're in this shadow for a reason, you know, like the things that have been coming out of my mind or in my mouth, and just like, I don't feel like that's me. I'm like, I'm just this loving light creature. Like, I'm like, I don't want to be this darkness. They're like, you are the darkness though. They're like, you are both. They're like, you wouldn't have been created this way. You wouldn't have put yourself, like, I was literally crying and feeling sorry for myself that I'm a triple Sag and my moon's in Scorpio. Like, I was like, why the fuck would I choose that for myself? Like, you know, I mean, I've had other people who've like done my chart, you know, astrologers who've done my chart, every single solitary one of them. I think that I know for sure there were 3, but I think there might've been one many moons ago, that said the same thing. I mean, I knew she did my chart, but all of them, and none of them knew each other. all said, holy shit. They're like, I've never seen anything like your birth chart. They're like, I don't know what you're going to do or like what's going to happen. And they're like, but wow. So I've always kind of known that, there was something, but I've been playing the victim a lot lately. I've been, kind of pissed off. I feel tired. I feel distracted, and then they're like, my child, every one of us goes through something like this at one point in the year. Always. None of us are going to get out of this unscathed. That's the whole point of being human. If you found yourself here, especially in this reading today, you are a powerful motherfucker. Like, I mean, and so am I. Like, we're powerful, and there's nothing wrong with owning that. It's our soul knowledge, like, right? Like, we created this. We wouldn't have created ourselves as these warriors to deal with these people, these situations, this time and space, all of it. We wouldn't have done it if we couldn't fucking do it. And that has been the biggest message I've been getting from Spirit lately is like, hold on to the hope. We knew this was going to happen, right? Like we came here at this time right now because we are transitioning Earth from the Dark Ages. Literally, that's why they called it the Dark Ages. We were at the very end of the Dark Ages. But to some people, it's like, wow, look at, we went through this and that. And like, now we have lasers. Before we had, chisels and hammers. And now we have lasers, 1117, and Spirit's like, no. And 1117 is the number 10, which is about completion. But you take off that 0, it's a 1, and it's new beginnings. And even here, 2 is about duality, and 1 is new beginnings. Like we have to learn. If you were pulled to any other readings, I highly suggest you go and look at them from this series that we did today for the Waxing Crescent. If not, no big deal. But we're getting a lot of interesting messages that are coinciding with other readings. So even though this is about setting our intentions today for this moon cycle and this Piscean moon, it's also just a message from Spirit, to let us know like, hey, we're at the end of this astrological year. Pisces is the 12th house. We are at the end of it. The first house is Aries. So from now until the next the next waxing crescent, after the new moon in Aries in March, we are all going to feel a lot better. Some things need to be finished. Some things need to be done so that we can leave them there. So, your new beginning is right around the corner. Whether you're in the northern or the southern hemisphere, the spring energy is coming for all of us, okay? We're all going to be feeling that in March. We're all going to be feeling that energy when Aries comes into play. And Aries is fire and action and having fun. But you know what? We need to be in the flow of the Piscean energy right now. So even when you watch this, it's timeless, right? You can watch this a year from now in a completely different moon cycle, but this is just about the messages right now. And the owl is here to remind us not to lose hope. And also look at how laser focused that owl is. That owl is laser focused with their talons drawn wide. Their talons are drawn wide. They are about to catch their prey. They're about to eat. But right now, they can't think about their rumbling belly and that they're hungry. They can't think about anything else but that which is in front of them, which is their meal, which is their food. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to watch some documentaries on owls. I do not remember the name of it, but I found this documentary at the library sometime in the last few years. And it was just one of those things that was in the return. And I always go to the return first because they have a lot of the new movies in there. So I always find fun little gems, documentaries. And I found this documentary on owls that was so profound. It was so amazing that even my familiar Bubba the Great, she's a cat and in this life. And she was like, I mean, and it wasn't like, how cats like do that thing when they see birds and they're like, ah, ah, ah. You know what I mean? It wasn't that. It was like our massive big TV and like just watching this snowy white owl, like with their like wings extended, like just we all three of us, my husband and Bubba and myself, we just were like watching it, and she sat there and watched it with us. It was really amazing. But just watching how an owl, just the whole thing and what an owl has to go through just to eat, and it's really profound. And so I'm kind of getting that from Spirit, like not to lose hope, because we were raised, unfortunately, right now in this time period in the instant gratification energy, and it was flowing all throughout these readings today. So I almost feel like that's almost like part of our theme, right? Because this is a setting intention phase. We're setting the intention. We don't set the intention and then go, okay, where is it? It's like, well, you have to allow the dream and the manifestation to become what it is, right? Like you can't just, put seeds in the ground in spring and then just say, what the fuck, man? I planted those yesterday. Nothing's happening. Because they need time. They need time to grow, to adjust to the soil, to feel to go in. Ooh, if we had a snowstorm and things are falling off, from the trees and everything, because now it's like warming up. Anyway, I feel like that was a sign from spirit too, for some of you to like stay focused. Like even that, like maybe you were listening to this and you started to wander off and you're watching something else too, or you're doing something else. Spirit wants for this next moon phase, your intention, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to stay laser focused on your task at hand. No more multitasking. I mean, it's one thing if you're like cooking and doing the dishes, or like you're cooking and like you're throwing in a load of laundry or something, as long as you pay attention to the heat, right? Because if you're not paying attention, you're going to burn your food. If you throw something in the dryer, but you just wanted it to be a little dry, but you didn't want to shrink it, you know what I mean? Like you have to pay attention. Every single day, we are given things, from our chores to our tasks to our jobs to our relationships. We are given opportunities to 1622 to observe the world as it is, which is also the number 11. Hello, angels. I feel like there's so many people coming through. I love you guys so much. We have so many. You are so divinely protected. It's not even funny. But for those of you who ever watched Charlie's Angels, you remember when he goes, hello, angels? He talks to them through the box, but they've never really seen him. They're like, hi, Charlie. I'm kind of getting that from Spirit, where I feel like Spirit's saying, hello, angels. They want you to stay laser focused. I do it too. Yesterday, I barked at my husband because we usually watch things we live off the grid. And so we usually watch things on my phone because it's, has better sound quality, picture quality, etc. And sometimes we'll be watching a movie, but I'm like, I kind of want to look at something or whatever, and I'll be like, can I see your phone? So yesterday I was like, hey, can I see your phone? And he just seemed all grumpy about it. And I was like, hey, I'm like, we always have to do stuff on my phone. And he's like, why do you have to look at your phone right now? And I was like, it's none of your business why I want to look on your phone right now. It like turned into this thing, right? But at the same time, if he had said it in a way where he was like, you know what, we've been trying to focus on one thing at a time. You were saying you don't want to play on your phone anymore. You want to just watch something. Because I have been saying that, right? But it wasn't like that. It was like I felt like I was being policed. And nobody wants to be policed, because each day is different. And some days you're like, yes, I'm going to eat healthy all day and I'm awesome. The next day you might eat some healthy and not so healthy. And then the day after that, you don't eat healthy at all, right? Well, the best day is the one in the middle. We ate a little bit of both. You indulged a little bit in that dark chocolate you really love, but you had your Brussels sprouts, right? So balance has also been coming through for all of these readings. So I'm just getting from Spirit, in order for you to gain what you need right now, you need to stay laser focused on it. Also, my eyes keep going down to the braid. I mean, these always mean different things to different people, but my eyes are really going to the braid. I feel like some of you were thinking about donating your hair to Locks of Love or something like that. And I heard, yes, 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 but don't cut it down to the bone. Like, don't cut it too short. It's okay to keep your hair the way you want it, or maybe you need to grow it a little bit longer or something like that. Or maybe you're getting sick of your hair and Spirit's saying, no, you're so close, like don't give up, right? They're like, you're just around the corner. By next month it's going to be perfect. You'll get the amount that they need and you'll still have the length you want. I don't know who that was for, but it definitely felt like it was for at least one person. And this is interesting because we're doing things a little backward on this reading than the other ones, but here is one of your mantra cards for the Living by the Moon mantra cards. I am worthy of the very best in life and lovingly allow myself to accept what comes my way. So in the other readings, they were having me read from the spirit animals first, but I feel like they wanted you to see that so that those words just start like going into your brain. So let's hear from the mighty owl. Your key word is deception. Owl medicine is symbolically associated with clairvoyance, astral projection, and magic, both black and white magic. Owl is called night eagle on several medicine wheels used by Amerindian teachers. Traditionally, owl sits in the east, the place of illumination. Since time immemorial, humanity has been afraid of the night, the dark, and the unseen, waiting fearfully for the first crack of morning light. Conversely, night is owl's friend. Owl hunts its prey at night. Not only can owl see in the dark, it can also accurately pinpoint and identify any sound. This gives it a great advantage when seeking food. Owls are the night hunters. Oh, I love it. Some native people are fearful of owl and call its feathers deceiver feathers. An owl feather is silent. You cannot hear owl when it flies, but its prey definitely knows when it strikes, for its beak and talons are razor sharp, right? Like, look at that beak. Look at those talons. Also, remember I was just telling you about that documentary? So my favorite part about the documentary, and this might help you to find out the title, was they set up the most state-of-the-art sound system with the best speakers in the world, and they set them on the ground. And then they had this guy bring in his trained owl, and they had the owl fly from one side of the room to the other. And when they recorded it, nothing was in the room but the owl. And it was so breathtaking. It was so, like, almost insidious, but in a beautiful way, if that makes any sense. To see something fly like that and not make sound. I mean, it was like there's like a whoosh, but it's literally like the air. But you don't like hear the wings. You have to see it. It's really good, and it's seriously so frustrating that I can't remember the name of it. But it was just really profound, and just watching them is profound. And I feel like if you saw that, you would look at them differently than just like, your spirit animal, or like, oh, I'm wise like an owl, or oh, I'm magical and witchy like an owl. It's like, it's way more than that. It's about being stealthy. It's about, I mean, and maybe they were saying that about the insidious part, right? Like, it's about the connection of both. So let me read further. Owl is oftentimes the medicine of sorcerers and witches. If owl is your medicine, you will be drawn to magical practices and perhaps explore the dark arts. You should resist any temptation to practice black magic or any art that takes energy away from another person or being. If you have owl medicine, these night birds will have a tendency to collect around you, even in the daytime, because they recognize a kinship with you. Is it any wonder that in many cultures, owl is a symbol of wisdom? This is because owl can see that which others cannot, which is the essence of true wisdom. Where others are deceived, owl sees and knows what is there. Yeah, so I feel like for our psychics and our mediums in the tribe, you know what I'm talking about, right? Our human bullshit barometers, our telepaths, you know what I'm talking about. I had this situation yesterday with somebody who, it got to a point where I had to even say, I'm like, do you respect me? And they were like, yes. And I'm like, do you believe in, in what I do? And blah, blah, blah. And they were like, yes. And I was like, then you have to remember that I see all of you, your light and your dark. And so, it's like the parts you don't want to see about yourself or you don't want to accept about yourself, I see. And I'm like, I'm trying to help you work through that. But it's like our ego will tell us no, right? Because the fear, for those who can't, they're afraid of people like us. And that makes me really sad, because it's like, why are you afraid of me? Like, if you're only afraid if you have something to hide. And that's basically what I was trying to say without saying that. I was like, what are you trying to hide? Because if you're trying to hide something, you know what I mean? And this is for you guys too. And you have to practice what you preach. I heard from Spirit, right? With the healing energy. That's why the amethyst wanted to come in. Okay, so that's really, really interesting. Athena, oh my goddess, hold on. Also, when I paused, it was exactly 2424. So that's definitely an angel number. So look at this statue. I just got that the other day. It was an angel and the wings broke off, but it was like they broke off like perfectly. And I got this vibe from spirit that they wanted me to do something else with the wings and like leave that as like a symbol of goddess Athena. I shit you not. So that's why I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go get her because I'm trying to put the light on her. It was so powerful and I didn't understand like why, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys. So work with the goddess Athena for sure. Her warrior, like, oh, she's amazing. Okay, so it says Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom, had a companion owl on her shoulder which revealed unseen truths to her. Owl had the ability to light up Athena's blind side, enabling her to speak the whole truth as opposed to only a half truth. If owl is your personal medicine, no one can deceive you about what they are doing, no matter how they try to disguise or hide it from you. You may be a little frightening to be around, since so many people have ulterior motives, which you see right through. If you are unaware of your medicine power, you may take your keen insights and abilities for granted. Others never do. You may frighten them and reflect their blindness, for you cannot be fooled. All medicine people know more about an individual's inner life than that person knows about himself or herself, and that is the truth. That's what I was trying to say to this person. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not saying I'm judging you for it. I'm just telling you, like, I see the things about you that you do not want to see about yourself. And I was like, and I'm sorry that is, but I'm like, I'm telling you what I see, and I'm telling you why I feel this way, because even yourself is telling me not to trust you. And I said, so if your own self is telling me not to trust you, who am I supposed to believe? You know what I mean? I was like, that is like a fucking weird and scary place to be. So, if your intuition is like telling you to, it's like, listen to it. That is your key wisdom. Like I said, when we had the exercise at the beginning of this, if the owl came in, you know what I mean? It's like, you probably know exactly what we're talking about. If the owl didn't come in, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not your spirit animal, right? It could just be that like maybe they're introducing themselves to you now and they're trying to tell you like you have this gift. If you are in this group, you have this gift. You are a human bullshit barometer. I know what that's like. I understand. And it's good to be around people who understand you. That's why I have so many people that when I get around them, they're like, I love being around you. I feel like whenever I'm around you, it's just like truth. Or like I had people who are like guys who cheated on me, or like my family members did shitty things. It's like they would tell me, because I would look at them and they knew that I knew. And someone would be like, you're so creepy, or you're so weird. That's why I was creepy and weird, right? I'm creepy and weird because I fucking know that they're lying even to themselves. And they're like, I think I know myself. I'm like, I don't think you do. I'm like, because energy doesn't lie. And once people really understand what that means, that energy doesn't lie, 2723, then everybody will understand. Do you hear what I'm saying? But until then, you're not a freak. You're not a weirdo. You're fucking awesome. I am worthy of the very best in life and lovingly allow myself to accept what comes my way. Spirit is trying to gift you with things or trying to help you to wake up and remember who you are. And the owl flying into your cards today is a really, really big deal because it doesn't fly in for everybody. And interesting that it's 21. Like, it could have been pile 3, right? But for some reason it wanted to be pile 4. And I always feel like, or reading 4, I always feel like the readings at the end are like more for like either all of us of the tribe or like those of us of the tribe who are like the elders, like we have taken a turn around this wheel a few more times than others, kind of thing. But anyway, you're not alone there. So here's the rest of it. It says, if you've pulled the owl card, you're being asked to use your powers of keen, silent observation to intuit some life situation, meaning like to look further and deeper into a situation with your intuition, which is what I just said, right? Like about the Piscean energy, right? It's like the Piscean energy is all about the intuition. It's about, looking through the murky water and seeing it for what it really is. I kept walking into situations or staying in situations that I knew were bad for me. Like every bone in my body told me this person that or this, or like I'd have people who would tell me they love me or be like, oh dude, you're my best friend. And like, they would like say that, but I would literally hear them be like, I fucking hate you. And I'd be like, what the fuck? And I used to think I was nuts. I thought I was fucking nuts. I really did. Cause I'd be like, what? Like, where did that come from? And it's like, I didn't even know that I knew my own voice, but I just knew that wasn't mine. And then over time, I started to realize all these different voices all the time, and how my family and friends like kept trying to put me on medication so that the voices would stop talking in my head. And I'm like, no, the voices needed to fucking talk in my head. Like that was the whole point. Like I was put on this earth to call people out for their shit. And so you are the same. And if it's a new skill to you, or you've always thought that, but you thought you were crazy, or you're on medications, I've helped a lot of people get off medications. I have been off prescription medications now for, I don't know how many years, 12 years, I think now. And it changed my life. I needed to, because I didn't know who I was. It was dulling like who I was. These medications were like, basically just kept me numb. And it took me a long time to figure out who and what I was. Also, I have to tell you this. Some of you, cannabis might be your best friend. And so I'm hearing to look into that and get medically where you live if it's not legal. By the way, this is one of my favorite strains is Doctor Who. And never, since I have smoked this strain off and on for, I don't know, several years now, I always think of the TV show, the character, Doctor Who, or I think of like the band The Who, or like, you know what I mean? Like, but I never thought of an owl. And right before I smoked this, they said Doctor Who, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, somebody out there has an owl named Doctor Who. If not, like, I'm like, I want an owl named Doctor Who. That's awesome. 30:35. Wow, this is going really long. But no, this is really powerful. You guys needed these messages, and you needed to know that you're not crazy. You're not a psycho. You're not a freak. You're not a weirdo. Well, you are, but that's good. That's good. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good thing. We don't want you to drink the Kool-Aid, because that's what's been going on. We're coming out of the dark ages of everybody like, be like me. We want to be the same, be my prisoner and my slave, my sex slave, make money, go to your job you hate, be miserable so I can be a millionaire. You know what I mean? Like, no, we're all waking up going, this is bullshit. I ain't working for you. I don't have to work for you. And you know what I mean? And the government, we even set up our government. It's funny because people say our government sucks and our laws suck in the United States. But I'm like, yeah, but if you look at the Constitution and you look at the base of our laws and the base of our country, it's pretty fucking straightforward. I mean, not all of it's okay, because obviously, but and the parts of like the freedom, it's like, just don't trample on my freedom. Like, you can be whatever you want to be, but don't hurt anybody, don't kill anybody, like whatever you want to be, a racist, polygamist, whatever, that's who you are. That's who you are. But don't bring it into my world, because I want to like play with magic and nature and teach children to love themselves and, not be a slave. And you know what I mean? It's like, we're coming in from a different angle, man. We're here to love, uplift, and support. So we need you. We need your bullshit barometer. It's time for you to start working with your gifts. And I haven't been doing them as much, but if I'm called to, and if you're called to work with me, comment below or reach out to me if you have my information already. By the way, the magickalmedium@gmail.com, I accidentally deleted. So now it's magickalmedium@gmail.com. No the. It's still the on my channel. They told me to leave it that way. But anyway, I don't know why that went down that way. And so if you would like to reach out to me, you can email me. And it's just like it's spelled on my channel. So magickalmedium@gmail.com, or you can reach out in the comments section and we'll find a way to hook up or something. You know what I mean? And I also do recorded readings for those, on like that need a fixed budget, or on a fixed budget. I do recorded readings at a much lower price. So anyway, if you're looking for that, like, they haven't had me say that in any of these readings in a minute. So obviously some of you are new, or maybe you're new, like you're not new. You've always been this. You're just waking up. You know what I mean? So you're not new. You're waking up to who you are. But sometimes it can be kind of scary and frustrating where you're not sure. So that's where I would like pop in with you, and we would sit with spirit and go through and find out, like, what exactly you need to work on, or, what you need to let go of so that you can move forward. Also, I keep feeling like this looks like a squid, or like an octopus or something. There's something, or like, I feel like there's like this part right there looks like an eye. I don't know, for my scryers. Okay, so owl is befriending you and aiding you in seeing the total truth. Owl can bring you messages in the night through dreams or meditation. Pay attention to the signals and omens. The truth always brings further enlightenment. And interesting how they say that the owl is usually on Athena's shoulder, but you can look at it too as if Athena is over here, right? And the owl flew off her shoulder and he's going down to get the prey. It's like whatever way you want to look at it, So, I don't think they want, let me see. Do you want to read is it necessary to read the contrary today? Yeah, I've been reading the contrary for the other readings, but I don't know. I'm like 3421, another angel number. But I don't know why I thought it'd be any different, that you guys wouldn't be, basically, I was reading the contrary for all the rest of them and they said no for you. So this reading was straightforward. We didn't need to go into the contrary. These are your messages. I really hope they helped you in any way. I know it was a lot of information at once, a lot of things to look up and work with. But listen, the Piscean energy, like we said, it's the last moon cycle. This Piscean moon is the last moon cycle of the zodiac year, right? So once we are done with this, we will be able to embrace that fiery energy of Aries. But in the meantime, use this. It's almost like we're in the 12th house, but it almost feels like the 8th moon phase, the rest and restore phase, where we're at the end of the moon cycle. It almost kind of feels like that, like we're at the end of the Piscean, or the end of the astrological cycle. And I feel like the Piscean energy is just trying to get us to really, really be laser focused on our intuition, looking through that murky water and being able to see the truth, instead of, because I know that's it, right? We want to be polite. We don't want anyone to feel bad. We want to, want everyone to feel love. Of course we do. But at the same time, people don't even realize that they're being led by their darkness, right? So it's our job to call them out and say, like, that's not truth. That's not the truth. Or you're not being very truthful right now, And, I know for me, I had to stop talking to a lot of friends and family because I knew deep down they were afraid of me. And I think once I really said, like, yeah, I'm a medium, like, this is what I am, this is what I do, that is when I think everyone started to really be like, holy shit, because they're like, oh, it's a phase. I'm like, this ain't a fucking phase, and you know it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I've only been allowing myself to be this person for you. I'm like, this is who I really am, right? Because I realized I was worthy. I was worthy of the very best in life, and that I didn't have to feel bad about myself and hate going to every family party, because something somebody would say, or some horrible, memory or something, because they're so desperate for me to live in the past with them. They don't want me to be who I am. They don't want this to be. Well, you know what? Tough shit. This is who I am. This is who I've always been, and this is who I'll always be. And so are you. You were born this way. You were brought onto this earth to do this. So if you found yourself to this reading, you have very special gifts, and you know it already. Now it's just time to fucking claim your power and say, that's right. I'm a badass mofo. So, and keep saying to yourself, this is your mantra for now, forever, but definitely for this Piscean moon cycle. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is setting your intention is to say every day, I am worthy of the very best in life, and lovingly allow myself to accept what comes my way. And really, truly mean it. Live in the moment. Live in the now, man. All right, you guys. Until next time, I love you so much. Take really good care of yourselves and each other. And all of my information is in the About section. And not on your phone, but if you're on your laptop, there is a link to the new email address. There's a straight link that'll take you there if you're on your laptop. But on the phone, it's just, I think, my URL for like YouTube, so it's not really an email, if that makes any sense. Okay. All right, you guys. I love you so much. I'll see you next time. Take good care. Bye. Blessed be. Oh.